spaceport is the gateway to space. Different areas have different options and services that it can provide to the emerging commercial space industry. The Houston Spaceport is a stellar example of the ecosystem designed to support space exploration as well as its community. Co-located at Ellington Airport, the growing campus property is becoming home to some major players in the space industry. Facilities are outfitted to assist their tenants in their reach for orbit, the moon, and beyond. The Houston Spaceport is owned and managed by the Houston Airport system and brands itself as the world's first truly urban commercial spaceport. They are proof that a spaceport can be in many different places and provide many different services that impacts their community and the commercial space industry while serving as a bright hub for space. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today I have the absolute pleasure of speaking with Arturo Machuca, the director of the Ellington Airport and Houston Spaceport, and Dr. David Alexander from Rice Space Institute. Good morning, and how are you?
Good morning, Izzy. How are you? We're doing really good. We're excited to be with you. Thank you so much for thinking of us to be part of your podcast. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. Because I got to tell you, I am an absolute fan of what you're doing. You know, there are a lot of places that cannot have a rocket take off from their spaceport, and so they don't think that they can have a spaceport. But you guys are setting the example of what is possible. So I am a complete fan of what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. We are very excited. We ourselves are, like they say in Cloud Nine, a lot of really positive things, a lot of great developments around this Houston Spaceport and the vision that we've been working on since really now 10 years ago, right? Is panning out just the way we saw it. Yeah, it's almost like we wrote the book, right? And things are coming out the way we envisioned. So Houston, one of the largest cities in the U.S. or around the world, really, is now a city with infrastructure for the future, right? We have a commercial spaceport, and we are working, really, really hard at making sure that we build it just, supporting that brand of being a commercial spaceport. We have a very viable and very sustainable business plan that is having a tremendous impact in our community. So we're very, very thankful, to all the organizations, all the branches of government and companies and private industry, right, have taken on the challenge of building this spaceport together with us, right?
Sorry, Izzy, I was just going to add to that. Yesterday, we had our third annual State of Space address at the city. That was something that was brought in basically because of the growth of the commercial space industry here, and a lot of that is centered around the spaceport. So while there's a big NASA presence, and we had a lot of NASA presence yesterday, a lot of the conversation was about the commercial space industry and NASA's support of that commercial space industry. So we really get the best of both worlds here in Houston, and the work that Arturo's doing down at Ellington is just kind of helping galvanize the whole city, actually.
I have read that this was Arturo's brainchild. So you want to tell us a little bit about why you even started going down this path?
Well, thank you so much for putting it that way. Actually, this has been a community effort, right? I am just the lucky man to be in position to lead this development, right? So I am really proud about that. But like I said, I have to make sure that individuals, even like Dr. David Alexander, I say even David Alexander has done a lot to make sure that this vision happens, and so has every individual that we're connected with. This the vision of the spaceport has been one that the city of Houston embraced when some people thought this was not possible. And in fact, Dr. Alexander remembered the times in which we sat at a table and some participants laughed at the idea of having such an infrastructure here in a city like Houston, right? Well, we believed, and we had like I said, a very, very practical and very viable plan to get this going. One of the key elements in my mind has been the fact that the Houston Spaceport, while we believe that commercial space flight will become a regular thing in the future, we're still working towards that, towards that ultimate goal. So what we saw great opportunity in going after the business that precisely supports commercial space flight, right? To one day become what today is aviation, just to put it into perspective, right? And it's working.
Well, you guys are going lightning speed. I know it feels like it's going at a snail's pace, but to give you an example, in our state, we have just a general aviation airport that has taken 17 years and they don't have the first plane taking off the runway yet. They're still in the construction phase. So you are going lightning speed at 10 years.
Izzy, thank you so much. You know that you're the first person actually that recognizes that very fact. People think that we just say, hey, let's do this, right? And things just happen overnight. When you're coming, I guess, and talking to us about, building an airport, building a spaceport, right? It's just not as easy as it sounds. Really, in terms of federal, state, local government, and private industry, the length that of time that it takes to even just build an agreement, right? Build a contract, right? It's long. So yeah, we're very, very proud. Actually, I don't know if how much detail you have, Izzy, but the Houston Spaceport became licensed by the Federal Aviation Administration, the Office of Commercial Space, just in the summer of 2015, right? And so as soon as we got the license, actually, we got on to work. And by the next year, 2016, we were in position to acquire the first facility that was very necessary, to begin building the vision that we have. It is a 53,000 square feet facility that we call the Houston Aerospace Support Center, where we have labs, we have clean rooms, we have high bay manufacturing space. Today, that facility is being used by one of our main tenants, Intuitive Machines. This company is working in the construction of a lunar lander, a Nova C lunar lander is called, right? Which is right now getting ready to land on the moon. Hopefully, the launch date, actually, yesterday I was hearing from Steve Optimus, their president and CEO, in March 28th of 2023. So we're pretty close. I hope if we're able to achieve this mission, this will become the first U.S. Spacecraft to land on the moon since 1972, when Apollo 17 landed on the moon.
And a lot of people think that you have to have a rocket take off in order to be a spaceport. And that is just not the case. In fact, you don't have to have any launches to be a spaceport. It's a hub of activity. You want to talk a little bit about what of your vision of the capabilities are at this particular spaceport and what you see happening in the
Hey
near
Arturo,
future?
can I set you up for that
Go for it, Bigum.
So when way early on, I thought calling it a spaceport was a bad idea because I knew that everybody would be talking about launches, and what we really wanted was to build this aerospace cluster. And I thought maybe Space Gateway or Space Hub or something that was a bit more reflective of what we'd be doing. But I'm happy to say that I've been proven very wrong in all of that, because the effort is still there. The license is there to launch if the right client comes along and wants to work from Houston. But again, it's always nice to sort of kind of have your perceptions changed by success, and I think that's what Arturo has managed to do, and his team down there at Ellington. So I'll set you up a little bit, Arturo. Just to you don't hear me admit I'm wrong very often, but there you go.
No, thank you, David. And I know, Izzy, I gotta clear the record here. Dr. Alexander is never wrong. He has been, like I said, instrumental really in the vision that we are building here in Houston, right? And just like you stated, yeah, no, we were able to capture early on the fact that in order for us to work as a spaceport, right, to perform the functions that are connected to spaceport, we did not have to concentrate in achieving space flight or launch right away. That will come. I have no doubt. With time, that will come. But that is the part that we leave to the experts. Those companies that are building the spaceflight technology, right? The rockets, the spacecraft, we leave that to them. We have zero control with that. We are about infrastructure, about creating the environment where spaceflight operators will be able to take up, and for that we are prepared under the license that we have from AST, the Office of Commercial Space. We have all the plans to be able to host spaceflight. But again, early on we recognized that we'll wait for them. Right. In the meantime, we decided to concentrate in attracting spaceflight industry companies in the business of aerospace to Houston. And today, this is one of my proudest moments and statements that I like to make. We went from being a licensed / paper spaceport in 2015 to a very, very real spaceport that today is working and getting ready to support lunar, or is supporting, not getting ready, is supporting lunar activities, low Earth orbit activities, and planetary activities. What do I mean by that? Some of the companies and that we have here in the Houston Spaceport are working in the manufacturing of the commercial space station, right? What one day will become the replacement of the existing space station is being built here in Houston and at the Houston Spaceport. Right now, they're underway with the construction of their new facility, where their headquarters are going to be at the Houston Spaceport. This is fantastic. This is kind of a dream, if you will, right? That is coming through. We have again companies like Intuitive Machines working on that lunar lander that I described earlier, right? And then Collins Aerospace, also a giant in the aerospace industry, working along with Axiom also in the manufacturing of the new generation of the spacesuits. All this together, I guess you put it in a package, right? And all this together, what that means is just about more than 500,000 square feet of new space that is already built or under construction here at the Houston Spaceport. In terms of jobs, it means anywhere from 1,500 to 1,800 jobs at the spaceport. And today in the books, easily we can account north of $4 billion of contracts that are in the books connected to the development at the Houston Spaceport. So again, really, really good. When I was talking about planetary activities, also we have a startup company which we're very, very proud. The name of that company is Venus Aerospace. Venus Aerospace is a startup that came to Houston from California maybe about two and a half years ago, and this company grew from a group of three. That's how we met them. That first time, David and I, 3 people. Now they turned into a small company, 62 people strong, right? With investments by private firms north of $45 million, and working in the development of a hypersonic engine that will allow for people to move, in hypersonic planes sometime in the future. But again, we leave that to them, right? To the experts. We are about creating the conditions where they can operate, and it is working. The plan is working really, really good.
And that is one of the functions that a non-vertical rocket spaceport can do, is be a point to point for the new suborbital aircraft that are going to be able to go around the world in an hour and a half. They need their point to point. So that is another function that a spaceport can do. But I love the fact that you are building space stuff with your clients. For example, you have 3 stellar clients. You mentioned Collins Aerospace, and you mentioned the one doing the moon lander. You also have Axiom.
We
Yes?
have Intuitive Machines is the one that building the lunar lander, and Axiom Space is the company that is working the commercial space station. Actually, also in addition to that, I don't know if you heard it, but just maybe about what was that, David? 3-4 weeks ago, an announcement was made by NASA where they gave that first task order for the first set of astronauts to be to be built by them. So that work is being done here. So all those companies out here, yes. The point that you were making are just to emphasize the area that you touched. Yes, we believe that point to point transportation is it's where we're going, and we are ready to support that type of flight once the operators are ready to fly around the world like that. It is without a question our goal to be able to host flight like that. We're in a perfect location here in Houston. Houston Spaceport is located just 25 miles of the Gulf of Mexico, right? So that's where we can easily conduct operations. I call the Gulf of Mexico. That is our desert. That is our remote area where operators can safely, conduct operations without hesitation.
And one thing about the point to point is you do want to be able to travel if you can between major hubs in different countries, and that's what having a spaceport with a horizontal launch license in a major city in the United States can do. And so that's another part of the vision in the future. Obviously point to point transportation has got a long way to go, hypersonic transportation, but that's part of the plan, and that's part of the attraction for some of these companies to come here and interact with each other and interact with the wealth of talent that we have in Houston, with NASA next door, with the universities we have in town. Plus, we have the medical industry and the energy industry, all of which have a very high technical capability that can feed into this industry. So we're very proud of Houston as a city, but also what the capability is and how the future looks for us here.
And Izzy and David, I have to say that as David was talking, Venus Aerospace again working and being able to move passengers, hopefully, from one side of the world to the other, in an hour and a half, at the speeds that they are projected to travel. Their slogan, and it's one that I love, is in time for dinner, right? Pretty much that's what they have, in time for dinner. So that hopefully we are doing our part to, like I said, to create the conditions that will allow humankind to be able to move from one point in the world to the other in a fraction of the time that is taken today.
Hold on to your boosters. We'll be right back with more conversation with Arturo Machuca and Dr. David Alexander after these messages from our sponsors. And that's one of the reasons why I focus on spaceports, is because it is a long game. And by the time that a lot of spaceports are built, it's already going to be in motion. These supersonic suborbital aircraft are said to be ready by the end of the decade. Well, it's going to take 20 years of planning and establishment for a lot of these spaceports to come online. So those thoughts and that base needs to be built now. And you guys were very forward thinking with what you have envisioned with what you're doing. You attached it to an airport so that the suborbital, you come in from Japan, you have a hub where you can go to smaller hops. And you also have education built in. So I would love for you to talk about that.
Dr. Alexander, I'm gonna let you lead here, because I know this is really dear to you, and you've been really active working with us in this part of the development.
Yeah, well, thanks, Arturo. I mean, I think the key point here is workforce development, because this is a whole new set of industries needing new talent at different levels. So we all hear about the high-end engineers and so on, which of course is what Rice University produces. But it really is about the whole stretch from the technician side of things, all the way up to the kind of PhD research. We have Rice University, University of Houston, we have Texas A&M, not too far away, University of Houston Clear Lake. But one of the major projects that got started was San Jacinto College. And so they worked hand in hand with us and industry to create a program to provide the skills that these industries, particularly I have to speak up for Intuitive Machines and Steve Altemus, were very, very key to this. But most of the industry from Boeing and other companies. I should also mention Lockheed Martin because I used to work for them. But basically the local industry kind of contributed to what a program like that should look like, what skills needed to be conveyed to these students. And so Sanjak took the bull by the horns, which is maybe a Texas phrase, but they took the bull by the horns and really set up this program and committed to having that at the spaceport. And so that's called the Edge Center. What we're trying to do, we have a small program of a little consortium called HS Crew, which is the Houston Spaceport Center for Research, Education and Workforce Development. And it's the local universities trying to find ways to integrate our different programs and center it around the activity at the spaceport. But the foundation of that is the success of the San Jacinto program. And again, it's very heavily supported with industry. You can't do it without industry because obviously they have needs, and as they're growing their businesses, they have very specific needs. So that's been quite a really welcoming thing to see. It allows us as an educational community, and again, not just the kind of Rices of the world, but across the board, to interact with each other. Texas Southern, for example, is part of that plan. They have a very strong aviation program. So we're trying to put these kind of conversations together and work together with industry to move us forward, not just for the immediate needs, but for the next 1 to 10 years, and then hopefully with new technologies, the next 10 to 20 years going forward. And so we're again, like everything, Arturo's always cautioned me to be patient. I'm not very patient, but these things are happening and the conversations are there. And the other thing I wanted to mention for the previous thing is when we a while back we set up a thing called the Spaceport Summit. And that led into the creation of what we call the Global Spaceport Alliance. And it's just a kind of member organization. But the key point behind that, every meeting, going back to something you said earlier, Izzy, is there is no such thing as a spaceport industry right now. There are spaceport projects, and there are different levels at different places. But we need to work together because each region that's looking at a spaceport has unique strengths and a unique combination of strengths and strengths that other spaceports don't have. And so we need to work together to create the industry, and then we can maybe compete for the business. But we need to sort of create. And now what we're hearing is, and a lot of people approach us, is the kind of spaceport projects around the world. There are a number of different countries. I don't know if you can tell from the accent, but I'm from Scotland. And there's at least 5 spaceport projects being discussed in Scotland. Three or four of them, I think, are vertical launch, and there's a couple that are horizontal. 1 or 2 are dual use. But this is catching the excitement. There's another project down in Cornwall that Virgin Orbit's connected with, and that's just the UK. Italy's looking at them. Australia's looking. I mean, it's just really crazy to see the excitement around all of this, and it's really nice to see that they're looking at. I think, as you said at the opening, they're looking at Houston as an exemplar of the business side of things. Obviously, the launch thing will come, but it's just how you do the business and be sustainable, to use Arturo's word. So I think things are changing, and what you're doing with your efforts here are sort of highlighting those changes, and there's success to be had everywhere because it's all about high-end technology and developing people who have the skills to deal with that, which then pushes itself out into other areas. And so I think it really benefits everyone.
Well, in the work, workforce is a huge component. A lot of places just don't think about baking that into their plan, and you have it already baked in with all the schools and the students actually on premise working with the companies. And when they get to a certain point of their education, the companies get to see them, get to know them, they get to see and know them, and it's just a wonderful synergy.
That's exactly right. Like I can say it. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that for companies that key element is always the I guess availability of human resources, right? And so the work that we've been doing with the universities and even high schools and elementary schools here in Houston is one that says we will create, we will maintain this solid pipeline that will continue to produce the talent that is necessary for companies coming to the Houston Spaceport so that they can continue to build their dreams and the work that they're doing. And so obviously this is a proposition that makes all the sense, because as young students are coming into the education and trying to define what they want to do, right? All the excitement that we're seeing today connected with the renaissance, if you will, of NASA through the Artemis program, but through the goals that we have to go into the moon, to Mars, right? It's having a deep effect. Now it is really exciting for me to see young ones, right, saying, hey, I want to be an astronaut. Again, you're starting to hear a lot of that excitement that in my mind, I think we kind of dwindle a little bit in the past years, right? Everybody is seeing it, and I think it's all connected to commercial activity around space. Without having this initiative, I think that there's that tendency to believe, well, I have to be part of the military in order to be able to aspire to get on a rocket. Not anymore. Now and all levels of work, right, connected to space, people see, hey, there's a spot for me, right? I can be part of this business, and it is working really good. We're again thankful to our university partners, right, to the different schools throughout the Houston system here, that they're also embracing that vision, and the city of Houston and the region is heavily working pretty heavily into making sure that we have a solid a solid output of talent for companies based or coming to the area, right?
And if I can add to that, I thought, sorry, one thing that's really important, and it's been important for the companies down at the spaceport. I thought Arturo was going to. There's some interesting stories around this, which is, Houston is the most diverse large city in the United States, and so we have a huge number of underrepresented individuals, in different communities. And they are now getting the opportunity through these programs. Steve Altemus, who, as Arturo mentioned, is the CEO and the president of Intuitive Machines, who has been instrumental in working with San Jacinto College, talks about these young people who go through this program, and they didn't even think that they could. NASA's right next door, but they'd never envisaged that was something for them. And then through these internship programs, they're actually building lunar landers and something that's going to be on the moon within the next year, and they have a hand in that. He also tells a story about this young gentleman who basically worked as an intern, and apparently he could fix anything. He didn't have a degree. I presume, I'm not sure if he had a high school diploma or not, but he could fix anything. And he ended up saying that he had to leave because he couldn't afford to go to school. And he couldn't get his degree, and he couldn't go forward with it. And Steve just said, okay, well, we'll hire you and we'll send you to school, because the guy can fix anything. And so it allows you to see the talent that's out there if you open the doors, as opposed to going through the traditional program. And that's what those folks down at San Jacinto College and in the region have done. It's opened doors for so many more people at different levels. And those talents, and the talent that we frequently ignore or we don't see, are now being seen, and I think that's a really important aspect of this whole program. And again, we'll see the benefits in years to come.
Well, and you're igniting the fire for career and for the future in young people that surround the area. That's one of the things that's very important to me about spreading the word that a spaceport can be in your area, is that a lot of areas need some industry. Like, for example, where I live in Kentucky, the eastern part of the state has basically imploded as coal has left. Well, it's ripe for space mining and all these things, that if they just had a spaceport that could be the focal point and bring all those people together in the industries. And this particular template can be all over the world. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are, Ecuador, Mexico, there is a group of people that need this industry to fuel their dreams and fuel their local economy and make an impact in their area. And that is one of the things that I love about your vision, is that it does that. You want to touch maybe on the economic impact that you've had with just, I mean, you're not even fully built yet and you're already making an impact. Do you want to go there?
Sure, it's and I just I'd like to, I guess, to make a reference to the point that you were making, connected to Kentucky and what you would like to see there. In my mind, spaceport infrastructure, just like airport infrastructure, is about connectivity. And I believe that at one point, spaceports will become as crucial as airports are today, right? I always make a reference, to the fact that when aviation started, and we always talk about the Wright brothers, right? In 1903, when they first took flight, right? I mean, who do you think had the vision, who had the understanding, the idea that aviation was going to become what aviation is today, right? Actually, this place where the Houston Spaceport, is being built is the original name is Ellington Field. Ellington Field is an airport that was built in 1917, 105 years ago, right? The reason it was built, it was to train aviators back during the First War, right? First war. But basically, I was saying, who do you think, had that vision? And I was talking about this place being called Ellington Field. The reason why is called Ellington Field is, pretty simple. Back in 1917, airports didn't exist. And that's why this was just, a field. That's where planes landed. It's all you needed, and a big field where planes could potentially land without hitting a tree, right? And that was thus the name. Anyhow, back in the 1910s, 1920s, pretty much no city around the world did have an airport. By the 1930s, every city around the world, right, did have an airport. And those cities, actually, those urban centers that made sure that they kept on working on their airport and connectivity are, today are just major cities, right? Again, these points of connections, of connection, are vital to economies, and to the point that you were just about to get us started on. The economic impact that we're seeing from this Houston Spaceport is tremendous. I mentioned today, just in contracts that we do have in place, we can account easily for north of $4 billion of new money assigned to the Houston Spaceport and the region, right? We could be more proud. That's just in contracts. Then we have all the construction and we have payroll and taxes, et cetera, et cetera. It is a tremendous difference when you're able to create this cluster of activity, right? That motivates money, I guess, money is changed in ways in which everybody benefits, right? And community does appreciate that. I think the reflection is one that is, I guess, easy to understand when you look at the Houston area. In the case of the Houston Spaceport, I've seen across the U.S. Movements where some cities or some locations are taking the initiative, and all of a sudden, I think I don't know the details, and I don't want to get into I guess the specific details of why something will work or not, right? But I in the case of Houston, I can tell you the community has been so supportive that we were able since day zero pretty much to share the vision, to share the activity that we're doing, and pretty much I have to say everybody has been very very supportive and positive about this because it's a community that understands that what we're doing, it's it will have an economic impact that has consequences in all of us, and that, I mean positive consequences, right? So that's been really good. I always like to talk about it when we were running our environmental reviews here for the basing of the Houston Spaceport. We had people that came forward writing letters to FAA saying, hey, in fact, why don't we think about having vertical rockets taken out from Houston? I said, no, that's not going to be possible, right? We don't need that kind of power at this time, right? But again, I used to be very adamant when I was saying that, and I'm still thinking, one day as we look into different sources of energy, who is to say that in a few years we'll have technology, we'll have power that will allow for different type of I guess spacecraft to be taken up, and so I guess today I don't like to say no to any idea just because I believe that things change with time.
Quickly.
Yep, exactly.
I still think launching a rocket in a population center of 7.5 million people is probably
Yeah.
going to be a ways away. But
Your point is well taken. Your point is well taken. That's right. But hey, we'll see.
And let's look at the idea that maybe rockets aren't what's going to be around in 20, 30
right.
years. Yeah, maybe it's all going to be horizontal or straight up lift. Like we have science fiction movies that show us what we want to see. And, that is the kernel that leads to new technology.
That
There are
is it.
some solid ideas about space elevators, but you'd have to be equatorial, really. But I think, you're right. These ideas are there. The materials, the improvements in advanced materials, are allowing people to think, of these science fiction, these science fiction ideas that are sort of based on a lot of the good ones are based on real physics that just weren't achievable, in the day that they were envisaged. But as technologies develop and the things that we're learning, I mean, all these things are sort of starting to become a little bit more less science fiction and more kind of futurism, right? I mean, which has a little bit of science in it. So it's exciting.
We have rockets that can come back down now, that don't fall down.
That's right.
Look at us. Well, look at us. Izzy is in Kentucky. David Alexander is downtown Houston, and I'm here at the Houston Spaceport. And we are talking to each other like if we were in our living room, right? I mean, seeing our smiles, seeing our our eyes, and listening to every single thing that we're doing. It's just amazing, and we are taking all this for granted. But think about it. Think about it. I saw this kind of technology for the first time about 25 years ago. I was almost made sure to, I guess, to secrecy, right? When they would show me this technology in which people were communicating face to face like that. Obviously, it didn't work like today, right? We set up this call in a matter of minutes. You did it, right? And it's just great. That is amazing. So I have no doubt that we will see a lot more in the near future connected to how we transport from one point, the world to another, and then again, even like we're saying, we're talking about, colonizing the moon, right, or Mars in the future. We will have to have that enhanced means of transportation, right?
And
That's a good point, Arturo. When I teach my I haven't taught it for a few years, but when I teach my non-majors astronomy class, the early, the science class that a lot of our humanities and social sciences have to take, the first thing I do is show them a picture of the whole planet, the Earth, right, from space, and I ask them what it is, and they think this is going to be an easy class, right? Everybody's shouting it's the Earth, and I try and get across to them that I'm old enough where that picture is fairly amazing. It's like, but now the kids, the young folks today, it's like toothpaste. You don't kind of think about toothpaste, you just use it. And so now we see pictures of the Earth from space. It's like, okay, this is just taken for granted. It's not like, do you know what it took 50 years ago, 60 years ago, we couldn't have taken that picture. And that's a long time in their lives, but it's not a long time in ours. Um, and the how quickly we take it for granted is both a boon and a challenge. It means that there are certain expectations that we have to live up to just talking the technology gets developed to meet those demands. But it also makes things a little bit unrealistic in terms of what the expectations are, right? We should be able to do A, B, C, and D, and that's to your point about how long things take. So it's an interesting mix, and when it comes to getting people excited, because we're not living on avatar planets, right? We're getting people excited so they can support the effort at the same time as how trivial some of this stuff seems to people now. And so it's a kind of an interesting, as an educator, it's a kind of interesting place to be. Being an older educator, let me just say that, I'll do it that way.
well, and there is a disconnect, and it takes all of us to get the word out, which is marketing. That is what marketing is. And
Right.
I want to kind of go back a little bit when you said that the community understands the whole process, the value of the spaceport there. And that is communication. And communication is vital to get the community on board. If you don't have the community on board, then you won't have a spaceport, pretty basically.
That is correct.
So getting that message to people where they do understand the value of it, how have you accomplished that? How have you done that? Because you've done it very well.
Thank you, Izzy. Well, it all started, by creating very, very strong partnerships at all levels, right? We have for years and years, Dr. David Alexander has been part of this. We've created a number of different tools to make sure that the message is sent loud and clear. One of the first tools, actually, and Dr. David Alexander has been, instrumental in this effort that we created, was the creation of the Houston Spaceport Rise Lecture Series. Right? Basically, what it is, we built upon a program that Dr. David Alexander was running at Rise Space Institute, in which every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, we invite people from the community, right, students, to come in, and we bring in a keynote speaker, be it an astronaut, be it a businessman, be it Virgin Galactic, being Blue Orange. I mean, a number of different companies. We bring them, and we have them present their initiatives, talk about it in a I guess lecture mode, at the same time a social mode that makes it very easy for everybody to digest, right? So we use that tool to create excitement amongst the people. That was one of the tools. I don't know if you want to add a little bit more about that, David.
No, I think it's gone from. It's now been running for. I think we're in our 11th year. Because we had the big John F. Kennedy celebration, it was kind of a bit slow this year. But we have our first speaker announced for October 27 and this year, and that's it's going to be looking at planetary formation. So we do the science as well. But with the support of the Houston Spaceport, we're able to open this up for free, for example. So we actually bring people, the community in. And before COVID, we were catering events, and so that they would get some nice social activity without having to pay for anything. And that kind of helps bring people in. The topic itself is of very interest. Now we're in a mixed mode because of COVID. We have to do a kind of mix. A hybrid mode, where we stream them, so we don't get as many people coming to campus. But our biggest audience has been 920 people. Our smallest audience is maybe 30 or 40. So it just depends on the topic, the time of year, the weather. But it's been a great success. And as I said, I did a count recently. We're up at over 58 separate people doing talks in the space thing over the last 10 years or so, or the last 8 or 9 years. So that's been quite a success, I would say. And the support from the Houston Spaceport has kind of made it more of a community thing rather than just a RICE thing. And so that's really helped as well.
So Izzy, that's just one of the tools that we have created, but I was mentioning the partnerships that we created across the city with different organizations allows us that, to take a number of opportunities where we come and speak to community, describe the plans, describe the status, what is happening around the Houston Spaceport, and so being able to share what's happening, and for the community to be able to see actual benefits and developments makes all the difference. I believe that people are more and more proud about what's happening here at the Houston Spaceport. Dr. Alexander mentioned the 60th anniversary of the JFK challenge, for us to go to the moon, right? During that event, we saw a number of people coming into our Houston Spaceport booth, right? And we were distributing information that had a direct impact on them. We were telling them about potential programs that they could take up for classes to get certificates and certain activities connected to aerospace. We were telling them about where to find a job. We were telling them about where to come and have fun regarding talks about space. And so we working with all the different partners that we've been able to craft this message that clearly highlights how we as individuals, as members of our community, benefit from what's going on here. So and that, I believe, is been one of the the key elements that we've been able to use to advance the spaceport here in Houston.
You make it relevant to them.
Exactly.
And you go where they are. Nicely
said. Yep, we make it relevant to them, and so now there is something interesting, something that they say, yeah, that is that. Now, I'm not saying that it becomes a cost, right? But it is something that makes sense, right?
Well, and my next question is kind of a little can be a little political.
Oh, that's Houston,
the Houston Airport system has spent about $21 million on infrastructure at the spaceport site and used its capital improvement funds in order to help stimulate the initiative. Many airport systems are not willing to invest in a spaceport. Can you tell us why they should?
Well, without a question, we've seen many times, both, I guess, how taking the risk of investing that seed money that I call it the $21 million that we invest for the basic infrastructure of roadways and the infrastructure has made sense, right? I told you we have north of $4 billion in contracts, right? So all of a sudden, it is very easy for me to say, hey, look, it made sense. Why should others think about that? I believe that us as government representatives have an obligation towards the people. I believe that we are to create this ecosystems where people can come and find a job, find a direction, find a career, right? And so I think really that if it wasn't us that took the risk, 5 years ago. If we were not to do that, then who else, right? Who else would do it? Sometimes it is hard. It is really hard. I see it. I always say money is always the matter, right? Money is always the matter. Although we tend not to worry about that. Yeah, it is. Without money, things don't happen, right? And I've seen to where sometimes private investors, private developers, private companies, stop shy of accomplishing their goals because they're not in position to take that risk. In our case, you heard it before. Government has is able to invest with money that I guess has more patient ROIs. Right? We are able to sometimes invest money, the money of the people, right, in ways in which we can wait. Obviously, I'm not saying we should do whatever we want with those resources, but I think we should be very wise and very responsible, right? And I think that others having the elements, having the I guess the right analysis and the studies that prove that the business case is one that exists should should or could try to do something like that, right? Obviously, again, it's easier said than done. But for us, like I said, I feel really comfortable today, obviously, knowing that original seed money that we invested, really today it seems almost nothing compared to what's going on here, right?
Right. So I have one last question because I know that you guys are on limited time. What advice do you have for other countries, states, or regions as they begin this spaceport infrastructure journey?
I applaud those initiatives. I've seen David was mentioning the UK, Japan, South America, places like Ecuador, Australia, and there are a number of countries that are now working on a spaceport infrastructure. I believe that the approach that the Houston Spaceport is also I guess a business model that is also being embraced by others because today, I'm proud to say it is proven, right? And so I believe that the other countries need to do what we did back in the 1930s. Remember, I mentioned about aviation and airport infrastructure. I believe and I applaud and I just encourage others to get on with this process of creating this infrastructure that will allow humankind to move at a faster speed, knowing that will have a direct impact on all of us, right?
And the comment I would make is that you can't take a build it and they will come attitude because there's so many other attributes that a company needs if they're going to come to locations. I think the key thing is, if you're thinking about this, wherever you happen to be, is to build on your strengths. There are strengths everywhere. Maybe the strength is that you have wide open spaces and therefore can test rockets and launch rockets. That may be your main strength, and that is something that you should build on. But you may have other strengths like local colleges and local universities, therefore you get the talent pipeline. You may have a technology hub that may be an energy hub, like you were talking about the coal industry, for example, in Kentucky. There are technical skills and technically skilled people out there, and those are a strength. And so build around the strengths you have and have a vision for where you can feasibly go, not just where, we want to go to the moon and we want to go to Mars, but where can you feasibly go? And that's something I've learned working with Arturo, is you can have these big ideas that are 40 years away, but you have to get there. And to get there, you have to take these early steps. And those early steps mean that you have to show progress and you have to show some success. It doesn't have to be $4 billion, but it does have to be something. And then you invest wisely and you work with university and industry partners, as well as the local and state governments and national governments in some cases, to go forward. And so to me, that's the key thing. Have a plan that is a feasible one and builds on the strengths that you have in house.
That is well said. Thank you. So, what final words do you want to leave the audience with? For example, how to contact you, work with you, that sort of thing.
I definitely, I welcome anyone trying to make contact with the Houston Spaceport to reach out to us. We have a Houston Spaceport at houstontx.gov email address. Anybody can reach out to us, or do fly to Houston Spaceport also, right? There's also a website. Please do reach out to us with any questions, with any initiatives, right, or any business that you may have that we could work with you on, right? It's been a sincere pleasure, Izzy, to talk to you and to have had the chance to share what is going on here in Houston with others. I just want to say thank you. You're such a pleasant person to speak to. You just make it pretty easy to speak. Thank you.
Well, I think what you're doing is wonderful. Yeah, I really do, and I think that it can, it's good for the world.
Thank you.
And David, did you have any last words?
No, I think Arturo said it. I mean, we do have a couple of events coming up in the early part of next year that people want to come to Houston. The Space Center Houston will be doing a Moon to Mars follow-on from last year, and one of the local economic development agencies and NASA will be working on AscendX, which is another place where companies and individuals can come and see what's going on. So these are the other things to look out for, I think, as you go forward. You're always welcome in Houston. Houston is a very friendly place.
Well, I have plans to come back down there and do some more trips.
Coming over. We'll show you what is going on. I'm sure you'll have fun here. Just let us know. You have an open invitation.
Well, thank you very much. I will take you up on that. And I would love to have you back on because there are so many things I wanted to talk about that we just didn't get to today. So I would love to have you back on in, say, like a month or two.
You're too kind. Thank you so much. Looking forward to that.
Well, thank you. And that's a wrap.
Thanks, Izzy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. And
that was fantastic.
Thank you. And I'll talk to you soon.
We'll talk soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
See you, Arturo.
Bye-bye.
Please hit that subscribe button before you head on over to my YouTube channel for video versions of this episode with bonus footage. Links to the YouTube channel and other social media channels can be found on spacemarketingpodcast.com. A special thank you to Arturo Machuca of the Ellington Airport and Houston Spaceport and Dr. Alexander from the Rice Space Industry for sharing their journey to space. Be sure to check out their links listed in today's show notes. I hope that you have found this podcast useful for your journey as you reach for the stars.